Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ava Novus live stream. This live stream is going to feature three different programs. We're going to be trying to make three different fantasy maps in a 90-minute time span. We're going to be using three different programs: Inkarnate. I always say that wrong. And then we're going to move on to Wonderdraft, and also we're going to move to probably one of my favorite programs, ArtRage. I do have my, of course, beverage of choice. Sponsor me, us. So we will get started right now because this is going to be interesting. Okay, we'll get started here. I'm in Inkarnate. Let's go ahead and we're going to create a map. We're going to go, this is the web-based. We do have the Pro Edition. Any of the maps you see today will be available online at DriveThruRPG, and we're just going to get going. The main purpose of this video is to show you how fast you can create maps with these programs. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we are going to kind of rough out a large continent area as such. Creating, just kind of planning out something. I want to make this kind of unique. Maybe it has some really cool oceans there. Let's see. Start about, let's say 1202. Actually, I don't like those. Let's go ahead and subtract this. Again, I'm just doing something that's kind of pleasing to my eye. Just something, kind of whatever and whatnot. Probably should slow down because I'm making a lot of mistakes here. What I'll do, I'll usually just fill in the bottom area. Well, usually fill in you'll see today, usually fill in the main block area of any fantasy map first, and then I'll go into it and I will start creating and editing the actual continents. Now this video is designed to show you some of the features in real time of these programs. These programs are the primary programs I use for any cartography for clients or for any of our products like we put on DriveThruRPG. If you would like to support us or this channel, just go grab some maps. Really be appreciated. These maps are going towards making some game software. Well, by purchasing some software that we need, like ZBrush and some miniature software. We're going to make our own custom miniatures for the game system that we're working on. Well, background on the map making that I do. I've been doing it since I was like 8 years old. And it's always been very kind of a lifelong passion to do this. We're going to start adding some additional little interesting bits to this. I am staying away the edge. You never want to put something, well, you know what, let's make this really interesting. Do I like that? No, I do not like that. But yeah, I've been making maps since I was 8. When I was 10, I made my first role-playing system. Because we couldn't afford D&D or anything like that. Alright. Now I'm going to make this a little smaller. Maybe add some islands here on the coast. And again, all I'm doing here is roughing things out. With Inkarnate, I like to plan out where my map goes as soon as possible. Now we're going to work on getting this a little bit more fancy, add a little more detail to the landmass. Starting to look a little thin in places, but that's okay. The actual landmass will always take the most amount of time on any map you do. Because that's, well, that's one of the most important parts. That's what drives the eye at first. Like people, anytime someone's looking at a piece of art, will usually draw conclusions within about 5-10 seconds. Quickest way to get someone really interested in a map or a piece of art you do is create a very dynamic piece. There's some wonderful tutorials online. I really suggest you check out, there's some drawing videos. Udemy has some wonderful drawing videos about shape, size, function. Also about details, shape. Okay, we're getting something cool here. Then we'll move on to the next part. A little background on our game, on our business. We are Avant Novus Gaming. We are a small little business. We started back in October. My probably one of my best friend, well, my best friend, other than my dear sweetheart. He got me. I was having a really tough time. He decided to make a company so I could provide a little better for my family, and also we got a little tangent here that we need to get rid of. So he actually helped me create this company and really encouraged me to live stream and do stuff like this, and really encouraged me to, you know, kind of go out of my comfort zone. And we've been doing this ever since. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm going to start planning this map. I'm going to really make use of, I love in Inkarnate the painting system. So let's go ahead and we're going to say that south is cold. Shout out to everybody in the south, the southern hemisphere. I like to mix that up a lot of times. A lot of times we see a lot of maps in the northern hemisphere. Let's bring our opacity up a little bit more. I'm using the stylus on Inkarnate. Please correct me on that. You can kind of hear it scraping in the background. Also, for those of you joining in stream, please let me know how the sound is. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, the whole gamut of stuff. What I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of filling in stuff. I don't like that circle there, so we're going to change it. It's going to add some stuff instead of taking away, see? At this point, I will be adding more than taking away. But I'm using this to kind of plan out where the mountains are, where the other things are. Between Wonderdraft and Inkarnate, I love the painting on Inkarnate probably better. It gives me a wider selection of brushes, except for that one. I don't think I like that. Let's go back to our original one and kind of fill that in. Maybe, yeah, use that for these greener areas. There isn't a go back and fix function on this, which is, if I had a complaint with this, actually I do kind of have a complaint with this. That might be my biggest complaint. This green is a little too much, so we'll go and fix that here in a second. But again, have your mistakes. And you can see exactly where I'm starting to get an impression of a mountain. Let's go ahead and click that. Just kind of blend that green. Again, keeping our opacity about half of the original color. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and work on our mountain area. So we're going to go with a darker brown. Very, very lightly, just going over where we want our mountains. Inkarnate, I always will do the color first. With other programs, I'll kind of do stuff a little bit differently. You'll see. Okay, we've kind of planned out where things are, what we're going to do with stuff. Let's put some mountains there. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to start placing mountains. And let's see, let's go with these. Let's go with these mountains here. It's already selected. Ah, that's really big. Let's go ahead and turn these down to about 20. Oops. Let's see. That's good. If we are just going to start placing stuff. Again, I'm hitting my bracket keys to choose the exact mountain I want. I don't know if I like that. It's a little too. Just get rid of that. Let's see if there's another little bit of mountain that's kind of talking to me a little better. Let's see here. Hills, snowcaps, boulders. Let's go with these. Let's go with some Rocky Mountains. Maybe bump these up. Yeah, we'll go with these. Maybe raise these. Let's a little less. Gonna be super picky with the mountains because there are one of our biggest features. We're down to 15. Okay. I'm just going to use the control to, there we go. So let's use the in software feature to do this. Okay. And we'll just get started. We're just going to start out a little on the side here. Not too much, just going really gentle with these. You get the idea. Zoom back out to full. Come back. We're just going to assume that most of the mountains on this map are towards the center of this continent. We're about 15 minutes into this map or so. Maybe we have this big badlands down here. Maybe some more glaciers that haven't receded or haven't cut up the land. Some passes. Inkarnate, when you zoom in, you kind of lose a lot of kind of pixelizes. Lose a little bit of detail here and there, and that kind of is no bueno. But we'll fix that. The key is when it exports. I'll probably do a video on exporting and how you get that ready for publication or to your to your clientele. Okay, we kind of got some mountains. I like that. Let's go ahead and go back into and choose another. Let's kind of make some hills. I'm going to decide on these hills to give it a little more depth. I'm just very lightly tapping, but I am focusing on go to side on these. Horizontal versus vertical. That's going to give it a little broader look on the mountains. Make it a little bit more interesting to contrast with our landform. Also, it's going to break up the mountains quite a bit more. Give it a more natural look. Apparently, I'm losing my voice today, so middle of a live stream, so that's not good. Probably going to be taking hits of the old DP. Sponsor us. We don't get flagged for that. Of course, we haven't had a strike yet, and I appreciate YouTube for that. Of course, we're making sure we play by the rules on all that we do. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but it's actually kind of easy. Watch this get taken down. Okay. Let's come down here. We just need some more. So we got our mountains. Let's go back to our... We're going to turn this... stupid windows. We're going to turn this down, and I'm just going to zoom in with my browser. We're just going to... back up here. We're going to subtract. And this is how we're just going to make our rivers here. Not doing anything fancy, just placing these however I feel. We'll also be coloring these rivers here in a few moments. I'm a really big sucker for rivers. I go really all out on those, and it's probably a weakness of mine. All right. For Inkarnate, I'm running it in a browser. I just hit F11 to go full size on it. Actually, I made a mistake there. Let's go ahead and fix that. Yeah, right there. Let's go ahead and hit subtract. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good time. Go ahead and comment, and I will try to reply to you. If I miss you, please forgive me. I'm kind of focusing on getting these done. Oh, that was weird. Again, you can see the high detail we can do on this little thing here. We'll have to go and color these, and that's just fine. Actually, it's not, so I'm going to just go in there and get rid of these. I'm just going to bust these out quick. And as we go with this, we're just kind of making a story. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. That's not bad. I like that, actually. Okay, let's go back to our brush. And we are going to color these mountains in a little bit more. We're going to find a color that, maybe that. I'm going to really turn down the opacity on this. Sizes, let's turn down the size too. It's a little too, we need something a little darker to match those mountains. One second. There's a good one. Again, it might look really bad, but we'll go, eventually we'll come in and blend these a little bit better. We just want to kind of have the ground match the mountains a little bit with the coloring. And honestly, we could probably go a little darker, and we will. Maybe a little something here or there. We don't want to go too dark with this, otherwise we're going to have problems. About 20 minutes into this map, so we'll hurry up and bust this out. Alright. We've got a wasteland thing here. Ooh, that's good. That wasteland, I should have done that instead. Yeah, I should have done that instead. They've added a lot more colors to Inkarnate last time I was playing with it. It does come in two different versions. You have the free version, which is web-based. Also, you have, all the versions are web-based. This is the pro version that gives you license to use it in commerce. And also, this map, as well as anything else we do, is going to be available on Drive-Thru-RPG. Actually, it looks like we kind of lucked out by doing that undercolor first. Okay, let's hit some other colors. Really digging the ocean. Well, it says it's ocean, but I'm just going to take this and get in between the mountains here. Some of these passes. Again, opacity about 30%, so it doesn't go too crazy. Focusing on the areas between the rivers, we're going to make those a little lighter, a little greener. And I'm digging that. I'm really digging this right now. Alright, let's go for a little bit of green here, and then we'll move on to the trees. Let's see. I don't want to go too nuts with the green, otherwise it's going to look funny. We don't want to look funny. Focusing on rivers. There we go. Since the south is cold, we'll go in and do that next. Got kind of some nasty badlands over here, so we're gonna, there we go, try to even that out a little. Alright. Let's go into, let's find a nice, yeah, that's good. Just gently go over this area down here so it looks like cold area. Really gotta be light with this because apparently it's really wanting to go nuts. Alright, let's put in some trees. Let's start with these trees. First thing actually we're going to do is we're going to select all these mountains, and we are going to put them to the back. And then we're going to start placing our trees. We're going to zoom in for this. Come down here, and those are super small. That's a little better. Okay. Maybe, there we go. Again with these, I'm going up to the mountain with these trees here, the pine trees. Doing the same thing that we did with the other mountains, trying to do them horizontal versus vertical. Fill in those trees there. And these are pines, evergreen forests. Using a combination for just of my mouse, we're going to make some big pine forest down here. Dry interests. There we go. Ooh, we got notice. Probably should turn the phone off. There we go. I'm just filling in the big, using the trees to create a little bit more interest. If you watch any previous videos that I've done, you know that some of my I neglect islands because I get too excited with other things. So they are my little lost children on maps, totally neglected, and I always feel bad about that. There we go. Do more of these as fast as we can, but at the same time being careful. All right, we got those trees. Let's go ahead and put in some hardwood. Oh, hold on. Let's throw some of these in just for grins. Oh yeah, down here. That's cool. Kind of interspersing. So when it's really cold, it actually looks like that. That's great. Maybe near the mountains up here. We'll put some more of these cold trees in. Alright. Using the tools that they give us. And let's go ahead and use these trees. Make these a little bit bigger so they're more eye-catching. Okay. Again, same thing. These hardwoods up here. Actually, that's not going to work. Oops. I messed up a little bit on those. Delete. 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 I accidentally pushed these to the background. So we're going to place these, make them a little bit bigger. I should make them a little smaller. 30%. These I'm kind of going with a rounder feel, kind of echo the, the standard J.R.R. Tolkien Junior's map. That is the cornerstone to all fantasy maps. There we go. Usually with our maps, we don't put any, you'll see. We don't put any cities or anything like that. We let our fans decide, but we are going to put some backing on this, just so it looks fun. We're going to blend some of these forests a little bit together as such. There we go. Someone just told me there's a lot of chat going on. I pray I'm not missing people. If I am, I'm very sorry. All right. We will keep going here. I think the YouTube stream has shut down. Let me just double check that. That would be sad because we do all our recording on YouTube. One second. Yes, YouTube is still going. Oh, about had a little heart attack. Not really, but All right, let's have a look at that. Cool. All right, next thing we're going to do is we can add, if we feel like we can add a bunch of, square grids and stuff like that. Zoop. Anything like that. In this case, we're not going to add that. Let's add some more stuff in here, some banners and such. Of course, I forgot where the banners are. Of course I did. Yay. All right. I think we're good there. So we got our Inkarnate map done. We're going to save that really quick because I really think that's a good one. Well, that saves. We're now going to open Wonderdraft. You can start our map there. Wonderdraft is a PC program. We're doing all that. Okay. There, it's saved. Sweet. Okay, we'll F11 this, closes browser because Chrome devours memory. We're in Wonderdraft now. Yeah, that's probably good. Template. Let's do a 4K. Used word. We'll start there. All right. First thing first, we are going to again fill in kind of a bigger area here. Make something unique. Same process as before. Filling in what we want. This one, let's go with a bunch of little, well, relatively little. Continents. Again, we'll fill this in and then come back. Maybe this land, you know, as you're going, you can kind of make up stories for your creation. Generally, to avoid tangents, like to put something like that. We're going to increase the size of our brush. Fill the rest of this in. Then once that's done, we will go in and we will create some more stuff. The thing I love about Wonderdraft is that it gives you all these different styles on your map. Like, let's see. Black and white, pastel, paper, worn. My fan kicking up. You know what? Let's go back to Eastern. Oh, there's adventure. Actually, let's do that. I like this. I like this style a little better. This map does make use of your graphics card. No, it's not too demanding. We're getting some comments in chat. Ben asks, how demanding is it? The answer is it is not that demanding at all. So again, we're going to shrink this down. A little bit more texture. Now we're going to use a different brush now in Inkarnate. in Wonderdraft. This is, we're going to raise the land up. This is a really, really cool brush. Kind of gives a roughness to the land. It makes my life so much easier. What I'm doing, I'm just following the land around. Let's turn down the roughness a little bit. makes it a little more dynamic. If we want to make some islands, let's say we need some. Say this area's a little boring. There we go. And again, our landforms will take the longest time. That's okay. We just want to make sure that they get done right first time. Yes, I do play games on this rig. I have been streaming. Me and the other guys with Avant Novus have been running. We mainly run Vermintide or stream Vermintide too. Because, you know, it's a good way to blow off some steam. Maybe that's why they called Steam. Just to blow it, you know, blow off steam. Awkward. I got this really cool little shape going on. Maybe these are all kind of, we got a Greece with all these little islands kicking around like this down here. Gotta be consistent on the landform. See that? Go and fill in all these little lakes here because we want to really have control over this. There we go. Maybe this region flooded, maybe something else happened. Kind of taking it to extreme. We have this island battle going on up here. I do like to place bodies of land off the map just to make sure that players have areas that they can go and make their own space and areas. Hint at a different continent, hint at something bigger over there. Because this is not web-based, you can't really, you know, you could, let's see if you can. Yeah, you can. Oh, cool. Hit control and scroll in. That's good. We'll have cold north on this one. Maybe let's connect some of these islands, maybe down here. We'll connect this area. I've been playing a way too much Fallout 4 to even be close to healthy lately. The reason I'm doing that, we've been adding our own 3D miniatures to it, our own 3D models. Well, attempting to. Usually they come out like the Randy Savage model. It doesn't look too good. But we've just been playing with that for quite a bit. Alright, we're almost about 10 minutes into this. See, it's 12:42, maybe 20 minutes into it. No, unevident, yeah. I don't know. I'm just focusing on this. Okay, got kind of a cool little dynamic map there. Alright, same thing again. We're going to go in now and we are going to start painting here. Maybe if I chose the paintbrush. The colors here, you can actually pick your colors. The map, however, there's some things I like about this, some things I don't. The problem with, one of the problems with, it's one of my only complaints about Wonderdraft is that at times you get some weird colors. Depending on what style of map you use. I usually just use their default colors. They seem to blend a lot better. We're first going to take a really large brush and pretty much fill this in. Next thing we're going to do is focus on... Ooh, we got a big truck outside. Sorry about that vibration. If you're listening on headset, gonna feel that. Nice 50K or 120K hum going on there. Alright, let's go ahead and kind of do something different with the mountains. We're gonna keep the mountains up here. Make this wide area grassland. Like a stylus, might as well use it. Stylus on this is a lot more responsive. Maybe some bigger areas here. Let's go ahead and switch up the themes really quick, just to have a look at how they're looking. Let's go black and white. See how the colors change like that? They're a lot more noticeable in different places. Oh, I do like that. I like the pastel. You know what? I'm going to keep that pastel. I kind of like that a lot. Alright, we got our mountain areas. That's interesting. I never noticed that. If you use a different color, it actually changes the color. Again, if I have a complaint, that's it. The coloring's not consistent, but I love the themes. It's just a matter of playing around and using what you think is going to be best. I do find Wonderdraft a little bit faster than anything else. Let's go ahead and add some symbols. We're going to go with these. Wonderdraft does not have as many symbols as Inkarnate. Well, the overland symbols they do, but they don't do cities that well. So let's go ahead and back to our forms here. Something it does have is your mountains are technically transparent, and you get a lot better, almost a little better, since they are transparent, you get this kind of thing going. So let's go ahead and get in there, and you can color them different things. Again, we're going to focus on side to side here. If we get too much symbols on Wonderdraft, it kind of bogs down, so I'm going to kind of go light on these. Control wheel. I'll have you back out. Yeah. Got a rough outline of the mountains. Now keep in mind that Wonderdraft and Inkarnate they are technically beta and alpha or whatever. So keep that in mind, have patience. The developers are very much active in the communities, which are really cool, and I really appreciate that. Here's some larger mountains. We're going to place these larger mountains kind of in the middle of these ranges. Not too many, mind you. Just enough to get a feel. Once we're done with the rivers, and I'll show you how I do rivers in Wonderdraft. It's a little bit different than the program. I'll explain why in a second. So you kind of get a different feeling on where things are at. So we're about 15 minutes in. We're starting with the mountains. The longest one it's going to take is ArtRage. Now, ArtRage is my weapon of choice. let's see. Now, these hills, I'm going to just kind of place... I'm going to place too many. Let's go ahead and back out a little bit. So let's make these a little bit bigger. Turn down the placement rate. I like it. There you go. If you notice, some of the symbols are jittering. I don't know if that's on purpose. They're changing shape a little. I kind of don't like that. But it is what it is. Just put some hills in there. We'll use the rivers next. All right, let's go ahead and do rivers. Now, let me find it. Okay. The rivers itself, they have this tool. It's called the river tool, and it's really quite... It has a taper distance. It's pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is it has a tendency to not reflect the underneath the map. Okay, if we switch to another theme, we're going to go with the Venture theme. Let's go eastward. See this right here? Let me zoom in. I think I'm all the way zoomed in. Can I zoom in? It creates this right here, and I kind of don't like that. You can actually see if you're really zoomed in close, and I'm being nitpicky on this, so I'm sorry about that. But what I like to do instead of those rivers, for my own control, now we can do some lakes too. Yay, lakes! Those are fun. But you can see there's a difference between the lakes and actually the map itself. Oh, just gotta hold on a second. Just got a notification. Sorry, folks. Alright, we're still live. Yay! So, the way I do this, I actually go to the land and I go back to this lower. I'm going to drop my brush size to about, let's see, about 15. And on where I want the rivers to end, I will put a little space there. That way it's a little more consistent. First I'm gonna make the rivers, then I'm gonna come in with this little tool and create where the rivers end, so it's a lot more consistent. So back to water, we hit our rivers. Again, we go taper up in the from the body of water. Body of water. That's weird. Up into the mountains. See, closer as it gets closer to the ocean, of course it will taper bigger. I really like this tool in Wonderdraft. Got a little off on that. Saves you a lot of time. This creates a very natural feel to the rivers. I am using my mouse right now because I have a lot more control with the mouse with these rivers. If I use my stylus, well, I technically could. Let's try stylus for a little bit. And see, I don't have as much control. The answer, yes. I might. You know what? The answer is, yeah. The question was, am I planning to stream Fallout 4? I don't know. I'm using so many mods right now that it might not be a very good idea. I just got into the modding thing with that. What's going on here? Oops, messed up on that. I do love the tool that allows me to step back if I've made a mistake. That's my biggest complaint with, as I mentioned before, with Inkarnate, is that I can't Control Z out of there. Alright, this is feeling really good now. Probably going to go in and color these mountains a little better. I'm kind of not liking the... Yeah, I'm not liking that. Okay. Let's go in and do that now. Maybe a little bit of a brown. That works a little bit. Let's go opacity. Size, we'll reduce size, bump the opacity down quite a bit. Just focusing on the mountains. Again, not my favorite brush tool. However, Wonderdraft is extremely fast. And for a more traditional feel of a fantasy map, it does an excellent job because all its shapes are, most of its shapes are transparent. And also I find it's really quite eye-catching, the amount of the different themes and the different styles. I absolutely adore that. Again, I have a bias towards coloring because I come from spent about 20 years in the design field, the scenic design field. And with that, you want to have as much control as possible over your assets. We're getting there. Okay, now I'm going to come in and work on these river valley. Ooh, I don't like that. Very lightly just hitting these river valleys. We'll see if we can blend this a little bit better. Focusing on coast with this so it blends. Getting there. Sometimes these styles, if you notice on the edges of it, it's kind of, the color's kind of getting a little burnt. It's kind of a linear burn to it. Stylization, that's great. It's a very consistent stylization. Again, I don't want to be, I am that guy. I don't have control. So now on these areas for the, I don't know. Let's go ahead and we're going to drop this opacity. Make brush size a little bit bigger. This feels and acts just like watercolor. Once this is done, we will add some trees. we're going to look at different themes really quick, see if there's one I like better. Black and white, which is pretty dang cool. Eastward. Feudal. Or feudal. That works. Paper. Pastel. I'm digging pastel. Can't make up my mind. Bad damn. Symbols. We're gonna go with our. Well, let's try this tree. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Again, the only issue that I have, well, you don't get much tree icons, which kind of annoys me, but it is what it is. Giant trees. 40. Yeah, let's go with 50. Yeah, that works. Again, round shapes. Let's up our density a little bit more. There we go. Again, if you'll notice, you got down here and over here, some of the mountains are tweaking. That's going to cause a slowdown with the software. Something I like about Wonderdraft is you get almost a little more of a natural feel with trees. Just have these big globular forests, you can kind of do a environmental thing like this, which I dig. Then we'll come back and get these mounds done. Oops. I'll spend a little more time on this. The coloring of this took a little bit longer than I expected. About 2 minutes left on schedule, so we're going to go a little over on this. That's fine. Again, just add as much trees as you can. I think with the new recent update, I talked about a little performance issues, but I'm really not having any right now. Yeah, performance. There we go. Oops. Maybe I have to scrub brush. Okay, you can kind of see the mountains jitter. But I'm noticing a lot less jittering. It used to be every single object on this jittered. There we go. I'm digging that. I really like that a lot, actually. Maybe we'll put some palm trees down here. Yay! Just because I can. There we go. I really like that map. I'm going to do one more thing here. that's what I'm doing wrong. Let me make this bigger. There we go. Alright guys, that is that. We're going to save this. Alright. Is that saving? We're going to jump into the weapon of choice, ArtRage. Let's see. Let's see, 36. Yeah, okay. DPI, we're going to go, let's see, 250. Whoa, not that. We'll let that restructure our painting a little bit. We saved her. Okay. And again, same thing. Going to blob out a continent. We're going to go something little. Let's start with a single continent here. ArtRage, to answer your question, this is a painting. I don't like that. Let's maybe go for a European thing. ArtRage is a program that simulates real life brushes and real life tool sets that allows you to pretty much create paintings and artwork. Like if you put down oil paint, it behaves like oil paint. If you put down an airbrush, it behaves like an airbrush. If you throw down watercolors, it behaves like watercolors. I'll explain a couple of little tools on this. We have on our channel, we have a lot of videos featuring ArtRage and what it can do. Check those out. And let's get rid of this big blob down here. We're gonna make maybe a little more of a isthmus. We have a tangent going on there. We'll fix that here in a second. And yeah, let's get our eraser out and get rid of some of this crap. Maybe increase the size of this. It's very intuitive. Costs about $70. Totally worth it though. I started using it. I found it on my iPhone way back when. I still got a tangent there. Well, let's just go up and fix that. I'm going to do this little thing. Shift the mass, shift the balance. I think that's not helping. Yeah, if we do that, some like inner C thing going on. Maybe this thing? Nope, don't like that. Okay, that works. Let's do that. Alright, same thing again. We are going to do something really quick. We're going to set our canvas settings. We're going to first of all make our canvas color a dark green. I'll show you why in a little bit. Then we're going to put the opacity to nothing. That way it's transparent beneath it. We're going to take our pen tool. We're going to reduce the size. We're going to start working on detailing the land a little bit better. Really bust this out. This one's going to take a lot of time, so I really want to get this landform done as quick as possible. Reason for that is this software I use to actually make realistic fantasy maps. The whole concept behind it is that if you're using magic and you can like spy on people or travel to different planes, you're going to get individuals that that explore and want to see the world, and they're going to be looking at the world and they're going to see stuff, and they're going to say, hey, what's really there? Maybe there's airships, or griffins, or maybe you're riding dragons, and you're pretty much going to be drawing what you really see. And to me, it was logical that actually be working on realistic, kind of semi-realistic maps that represent. They're gonna draw maps that look like a satellite photo. That's kind of what I'm doing here. It has been a long time since I worked in ArtRage. I've developed some new techniques. Well, ArtRage on Livestream. I've been working on it constantly. Got a lot of wonderful commissions. We've also been doing a lot of artwork for the role-playing game we're going to release in about 6 to 8 months, probably longer. We're right in the middle of beta testing. It's a system. It's not only a setting, but a system. Okay, I like that. I actually really do like that. Okay, locker transparency. The tool we're going to use now it's what we call the giant loop tool. And this tool is my favorite thing in ArtRage. What it's going to do is, since ArtRage is a realistic program that simulates what would happen if you put realistic paints on a canvas, I'm using this tool here, and that is it's like taking an entire tube of paint. In this case, 500%, so a giant, almost a bucket of paint, and just smearing it all over this canvas. And because of that, it is going to, let me kind of explain this a little better. It is going to make it so, we need to add a sample here. It's going to make it so that it increases the size. Let me show you this really quick. So ArtRage not only keeps track of the texture and the media on the canvas, it also keeps track of the height. So let's say with this, here's the here's the canvas, and I just put this big old giant glob of paint on it. Okay. If I come in with some more paint, it'll be like that. If I come in with some more paint, it's going to be like that. So I'm actually, best way to describe it, I'm currently placing layers upon layers of paint. To help this, they also have a specific, I always forget where it is. Layer options, that's it. It has also, to help enhance this tool, you can set this to add, to make sure that every time you place more paint on it, it adds stuff. We're now going to go back to this is our knife tool. I'm using all the tools in the preset of ArtRage, nothing fancy, not any of my custom tools. And I'm going to smooth this out really quick. And if you can see, it's already creating kind of this really cool little texture under here. It's also creating some valleys and peaks and stuff like that. I'm now going to look at that and say, maybe I want some mountains near the top, or maybe I want mountains near the side. In this case, I'm going back to my big old tubo paint. I'm going to reduce it down to about, I don't know, 300. I'm going to come in and, come in and put a big old mass of paint right here. See that? Because I want some mountains here that kind of come over here, so I want to gloop a lot of paint there, maybe some there, maybe some there. And now I'm going to go back to my this harsh chaos brush. You can see I've already increased the amount of paint in that area. I'm just going to blend it into the background there. We'll be using this harsh chaos brush quite a bit for this map. I'm going to start really small, that way we spread it around in specific areas first. I'm going to go a little bigger with this, maybe 250, and I'm going to blend this a little bit better. Okay, not bad there. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start making mountains. We're going to come in with our 2 brush again. We're going to reduce this to about 20. Let's go about, I don't know, yeah, 25 would be good. Let's double check. Nope. We want to go even bigger than that. Let's go 50. We're going to get our mountain color. Let's go with a dark, let's go with a dark gray. Add our sample. Our other videos are going to show you exactly how we do this. And what we're going to do, instead of running this tube, we're actually going to do little dots. You can hear me just striking on my little tablet, Wacom tablet. Sponsor us. Remembering where I put those mountains, where I put that extra paint. About 15 minutes left on this one. That's definitely enough time. And again, I'm just adding layer upon layer of paint. This is also going to tell me I used a different color here. It's going to tell me where I need to put the mountains. We're going to come back with our harsh chaos. Going to go about, I don't know, 150 size. That's a little too big. Let's go about, yeah, let's try 100. And we're just going to very gently go on the top of this, on these. If you notice, when we're inside of that, you'll notice it's kind of spreading out. It's kind of fanning out like a natural geography of a mountain. See that right there? That's a good example. And we're just going to cut into it. Next up, we're going to add the other mountains. This is just another layer of paint, another big gloop of paint on what we already formed. All right, happy with that. We're now going to add glitter. Yes, glitter, the herpes of arts and crafts. We're going to go about to 25%. We're actually going to use our square brush on this. We're going to keep the same color. We're going to go in and we're actually going to form, that's actually too big. Let's go about 15. Yeah, it works. We're actually going to form the ridge lines of these mountains. You gotta trust me here. I know it looks weird, but you'll get the idea. This is our biggest, this represents the main ridge line of the mountains. Again, our other YouTube videos shares this. I do have custom brushes I use just because I have my own preferences. For these tutorials or these little things that I do, I just use the custom brushes with the software. That way I'm not showing you some weird brushes that I spent days making and stuff like that. Okay, so we got our mountain lines. And we're going to come in with a lot smaller brush, and we're going to create, let's go a little smaller than that. Let's go maybe 4. We're going to create our little offshoots. Not much, but enough to go maybe like 3. Little offshoots coming off these. It's really not doing anything. Usually our big paintings, our big maps, this one's just 1080. But our regular maps are 36 inches by 24 inches with a DPI of around 360, so you can blow it up to about 8 feet. if you want to go crazy on that. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going back to this brush, our knife brush. I'm going to move it down to instant blur. I'm going to drop the pressure and softness quite a bit. I'm going to come back on this. I'm at 50%. Here's the magic, folks. When I go with the ridge line, it starts creating an actual ridge that I'm blurring out. Again, this is got 10 minutes left, so I'm going to start panicking here. But at this point, these are just going to haul, because our base is what's going to take the longest time. Again, I'm just blurring these mountains. Okay, looks like crap right now, but trust me, it'll look good here in a second. I'm going to take this up to maybe 250. Oh, way too much. Let's go 75. I'm going to come into our mountains here. I'm going to use my mouse, and I'm just going to slowly, well, not really too slowly because I'm panicking. I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to go over these mountains as such. Again, if I go over, I go over. You can see that I'm starting to get an actual realistic. I'm pretty much cutting into these. I'm just going to hold down the mouse at this point. Blend it. See that? Maybe blend off the back of these, make it a little more realistic. So I'm just coming in here and actually just with my knife, pulling a Bob Ross and shaping the paint. Oh, I got 13 minutes left. My bad. I got plenty of time to get this done. I don't. All right. All right, there we go there. Next part is I'm going to create rivers. To do that, well, I'm not really happy with some of these mountains. So I'm going to go in and just cut some of them apart. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come back with this green, go to my airbrush, go about 500. Actually put some metallic in. The metallic's going to catch the natural lighting of, there we go. See, instant texture. Okay, we're going to do the yield rivers here. To do that, we go to our pen, taper bias, we turn up to, oops. Okay, this is my setting for the river brush. Make sense? Put that down to about a 4. We're actually going to use this, a new layer. We're going to start at the ocean, taper into the mountains. It's a little big. That is actually way too big. Let's go down to 3. 10 minutes left. And it's a little small. That's just right, I hope. Again, I'm using my stylus here to control the pressure. We're doing this in another layer. What this is doing is it's going to allow us to basically creating a giant cookie cutter here. Then we'll go to the next step. Again, the reason I like ArtRage so much is that it allows you to, everything's natural, it's intuitive, and it's all in real time. I don't like those. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down to my selection brush right there. I'm going to select the transparency on this. I'm going to hit Control I. Oops. Oh, inverse selection. I think it's Control Shift I. I'm going to go to this layer, going to unlock the transparency. And now I have instant. Control D to get rid of that. I have instant rivers. Underneath this one, let's go ahead and make our, go back to our big old brush here. Go there. Now we're going to come up here and we are going to paint this as fast as possible. But before we do that, well, let's just paint this really quick. I'll show you what I'm doing. Going to do the mountains first, reduce this to about 100%. Opacity and pressure down. Focus on the mountains first where I want them. Actually, let's bring opacity up. Then we'll just blend. In my mountains, the metallic in there is reacting with real-time lighting, creating a real-time embossing effect. Paying attention to where I put the mountains. Mountains are first. Again, we're just blocking those out. Then we're going to go with a, maybe something like that. To blend these a little bit. Again, this is just adding our topmost color. This is like a primer to create a more of a blend than anything else. All right, we've got our mountains, we got our high areas, kind of with a higher overcoat. We are now going to go in and we're going to start on our lower areas. Our coastline, kind of don't like that. Again, I'm hustling right now. It's 12:27, excuse me, it's 1:27 Pacific time. I started about 3 to 4 minutes late. I'm going to go with a slightly darker. Move that up into these higher areas. It has been a long time since I did this on stream. Usually we used ArtRage to do this in an hour. Apparently we're doing this in a half hour. We're just blending this area in, moving it into the mountains a little. That undercoat we used is going to fill in really good. See that? This color we're just going to start sneaking in on the high areas. Looks like we missed something up here. Yeah. Give us kind of a highlight of the grasslands. Going to start dark, then move to light. Looks really camouflaged at this point, but I'll show you the next step. I don't think I'm going to make it, though. I don't think I'm going to make it. That's okay. I tried. We're going to drop our opacity down, and we're now going to start. Added a lot of white into this brush. That way it blends into the mountains a lot better. See what we're doing there? But since we have this really kind of vivid undercoat, it's just with opacity down. Let's fix this up here. We don't want that texture. It's creating this really cool. It's blending really well. Not too bad. Let's fix this ocean, river. Okay, cool. We're now going to go in, keep this about, yeah, okay. You know how we made the, we got 3 minutes. We made the undercoat of this, the canvas itself, that green. We're now going to go in with that harsh chaos. We're actually going to cut into the paint. Make these river valleys. I'm now going to just scramble. I hope I can get this done. I got 3 minutes. But we're just going to cut into these river valleys. That's going to make some really cool topography. If I feel like, you know, blending some of these mountains in a little bit better, I can do that at this point. I can also smooth it out with that brush, that harsh chaos. I like to keep these on the coast because it adds some green into that. I would like to spend some more time on coloring this, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point. All right. Next step, let's do some, we're going to do some very quick forests. Same thing we did last time. Moss 2. Yeah, trust me on this one. We're just going to bust this out as quick as humanly possible. Again, you got to trust me on this. I'm not going to explain it, but it's going to work. Again, I'm making a cookie cutter. Two minutes left. However, I'm going to hide that really quick. Hide this really quick. Come back up here. Delete everything there. Got a little bit of spill here. Let's see if we can do a little better job up here. We're going to lock this transparency now. Can choose our green. Oh, 1 minute. Can go with this. Going to move that up to about 80%. We're in our green, no multicolor. This layer, we want to make sure that we are adding to it. Let's go about 250 because we don't have time. Oh, gotta get this done in less than a minute. Oh, look, force. Bang! And then we can go in maybe with a lighter airbrush. Oops. So let's go a little harder there. Make this a little more dynamic. Their airbrush. Showing depth of an ocean. Making those rivers pop a little bit more. All right, 233, start, 133, it's down 134, I'm gonna stop right there. So, 3 maps, 90 minutes, I actually did it. This one could use this one's a little sloppy, I'll be honest, but we got done. Um, I'm gonna probably do some more before I put this up on Drive-Thru RPG. It's kind of not hitting my standard, but not too bad. So you can see the three pieces of software that I use: Inkarnate, Wonderdraft, and ArtRage. Again, if you want to know how I did this in ArtRage, check out my other videos. So let's go ahead and clear these out so you can see. There's that. Let's pull up Wonderdraft. There's the one we did in Wonderdraft. Let me pull up the one in Carnage. It's really big, so it's kind of having a little bit of loading, and I think I've got too much. Yeah, my browsers are really, the streaming stuff's really taking some toll on that. So, yeah, I think that was successful. I'm kind of fried though, but that's 3 maps in 90 minutes using those 3 programs. Thank you so much for dropping by. I showed you. I hope this helps. Hope it gives you a taste of what software is out there available, what software works, and happy map making. And we will, I guess, see you next week. If you have anything you'd want to see, any comments, notes, please for mercy, go ahead and put it in the comments. Support us on Drive-Thru RPG. Click the button, click the bell if it does anything, subscribe. Really appreciate the support, and have a great day.